righty, guys. Welcome on in. Welcome on in, guys. It's been a wild week. Yeah, I've taken a week off last week just to, you need a break every now and then, right? Good solid break will do the body good. I hope you guys tuned into this past Tuesday. We had a guest on by the name of Galen Wilson. Uh, Basically, learning that the man, as an advocate for teaching about healthier relationships, going through the pyramids of positive energy versus negative energy. We've got into, some unhealthy sexual desires versus healthier sexual desires mixed in with a little bit of ED. Yes, men his age do experience that, and he has a method of that, guys. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't listened to that episode, please take a moment to check it out. Very, very interesting. With a man that basically been through it all, tackled it all, and experienced it all. So I had really, really good time talking to Mr. Wilson about his institute called Monument Method Institute. Sorry, I had it backwards. So if you want to check out that episode, guys, check it out on our library there on Spotify or wherever you hear a podcast. But today, guys, we're going to talk about here on Savage 10, which is our bonus episode. Every Friday, guys, you could check out some of what I'd like to discuss, but more of on a positive note, right? I like to keep it within 10 minutes, guys, obviously. But today, guys, I want to say thank you to a sponsor that makes this show possible. I want to say thank you to MeUndies. That's right, guys. MeUndies. Been with them for a while now, and they've supported our show for a while. So thank you very much. Hat tip to MeUndies over there for coming up with a design and a concept of better underwear for both the male and female. So appreciate you guys, what you're doing over there at MeUndies. I love MeUndies. I could tell you, it doesn't give me any irritation lines around the waistline, and it doesn't give me that damn jock itch that you get. Fucking men, raise your hand, right? The jock itch sucks. MeUndies doesn't give you that. And the ladies, it doesn't give you any irritation down there. So head over to MeUndies.com, guys, and check out their amazing line of products that they have. Guys, we're going to talk about flock cameras today. A lot of controversy coming on social media about these cameras called flock cameras. What the hell is a flock camera? Well, for those that are not well aware of what they are designed for, I'm going to give you a little truth here, because a lot of people seem to want to attack the concept of this technology, known as automated license plate recognition, or ALPR systems. Okay, everybody, before I get into it, guys, you know what really strikes me on this whole issue? The ones that constantly talk about safety, safety, right? We need to have more safety in our communities. We have to have more safety in our cities, in our state, in our county, and vice et cetera, right? You always talk about safety. I agree with you. We should have safety in all those areas. When you actually have technology that comes out on a positive note to tackle the crime, tackle the theft, tackle this, tackle that, yous are all on this issue on how it's invading your privacy. Well, listen, folks, with all due respect, and I say that on a serious note, you can't have two eggs in the basket. It's either one or the other. You're either for safety or you're for your privacy. And guess what, folks? I, for one, have recognized and realized in our society that we have not evolved on a technical scale of them both. You come out with a concept like flock cameras that are designed to tackle the crime and tackle all of that is in your communities and cities and towns. Privacy, how can you have a camera system that's designed for that, but you're now focusing on the Privacy Act? It's invading my privacy. What about generalized cameras? You don't think that they invade privacy too? So when you have a camera that's on your establishment, your business, or maybe your residence, and people tend to walk past them, or they're delivering your food, or your neighbors or your friends or your family stops by, did it ever come to you to think that maybe they don't like those cameras on your homes, businesses, or establishments? They may invade their privacy, but that's on a different scale, is it, folks? You don't think of that. That's the problem with our society, folks. It's only one sided, it's never two sided. Always affects the one person, but they don't come to realize that it may affect other people. Folks, you can't have it both ways. Now, I promise it will stay within 10 minutes. We might go a little overboard now because now I'm a little heated and I need to get this out. Okay. And that's what the whole damn design and concept of Savage 10 is, to give you more of a personal scale of how I look at this concept of flock cameras and other topics that may come up. Now, the evidence generation of the investigation and crime solving, of which these cameras were designed for one purpose, to break down the crime, break down the criminal activity that is going around your communities, and put the bad guys in jail where they belong. So let that sink in, folks. You have a piece of technology that was developed and created for that purpose. How is that wrong, and how does that bother you? Before you go into the talking point in the narrative of invasion of privacy, like, have that to the side for now and answer that one question. How does that bother you by that pole with that camera attached to it, monitoring criminal activity? How is that an issue? First, it's assisting police officers and law enforcement, right? And then the next question would be on your end. Well, Michael, how is that helping police officers? How? I'll explain it. Maybe that police officer is not in that generalized area. Okay. And it's sending a signal to that police cruiser saying that there is illegal activity of crime happening in that particular location. That's how it's helping and assisting police officers and local law enforcement. That's how. Well, a regular camera does that. You're right. A regular dome camera that's attached to a utility pole, a traffic light, a building for that matter, that's connected to the local police department. Yes, it does do that. But those cameras don't monitor the license plate. Okay. The invasion of privacy, I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of that, because if if you're committing the crime, well, then guess what? You've been caught in the act. And my friend, your invasion of privacy is on a whole different level. Okay. You are now involved in a police investigation. You still have rights, don't get me wrong. But if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to hide. If you're not guilty of a crime, you're not guilty of a crime. But if you committed a crime, well, then guess what? You ever heard the old saying, you reap what you sow? You reap what you sow, folks. I just don't understand how people have issues with this. Okay. When you bring up public safety and recovery, they're nowhere to be, they have no response to this. The positivities of this technology, locating missing persons like Amber Alerts, sexual predators out there stealing your children. This system integrates with databases like the National Crime Information Center, known as the NCIC, to trigger alerts for the Amber Alerts, the missing endangered persons, the abducted children. If folks that are attacking this method have been advocating that for years. We need technology to break this down to help find those missing children, to lock up those pedophiles of dangerous people, to recover the stolen property, whether it be a stolen car from, somebody's home or dealership or a parking garage. Folks, we have the technology now to break it down, to solve this, to make life a hell of a lot easier for these detectives and police officers. But let alone that's wrong. How can you advocate for years, folks, about public safety? And now when we get it, you're the first one to, like, literally attack it. I just don't understand how people act. The automated data hygiene of all this is to make your life a hell of a lot easier, folks, where you can sleep at night not worrying, "Oh, shit, my car is gonna get stolen on the fucking corner of the street." Or I'm going to have graffiti sprayed on my car in a parking lot in the city. Would you not want, answer that question, folks, of what I'm about to say. Would you not want a flock camera above there monitoring all the criminal activity? I would. I would. Because before these damn things came out, it would take weeks upon weeks of months of years to figure out who that person was because of old technology that did not work. We have technology that's actually working, folks. That's actually working. Now, I did mention here real quick so I don't confuse people. Well, Michael, you just mentioned that it does help trigger alerts for Amber Alerts and missing endangered people and abducted children. Okay. It doesn't capture facial recognition, but it does capture the data that's linked to that person that abducted that child. Okay. Through driver's license, social security numbers, and other information that's registered within the state or the federal government. Okay. Birth certificate. It will track down that person to where it makes the investigation a lot easier. Okay. So please understand, I'm giving you factual information. I'm not giving you misnomer or misinformation like any other Joe Schmo of a podcaster would. I'm reading this right off of the website of Flock, which you can go to. You go right over to the to the Flock Safety, okay, which is www.flocksafety.com. Okay, and you can discover everything about Flock. Learn why more than 6,000 plus communities trust Flock to keep their communities safe. Yeah, folks, it has a high backing of some 6,000 plus communities. Discover the Flock difference. Hassle-free solution, scalable and customized, technology, positive outcomes, and a 15% of reported crimes in the U.S. are solved with the help from Flock. Okay? So if you're interested in learning about the positives, instead of hearing the negatives on social media or mainstream media, well, then that website's for you. So anyway, guys, that's my little Savage 10. Sorry, it went over 10 minutes. I know I have audience that really like we just 10 minutes, Michael. That's it. I gave you about what? Almost 16 minutes. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. And till next time, guys, we will see you next time. Join us tomorrow for our Saturday program. If you want to know any more information about this, head over to savagedunfiltered.com. All of our generalized information about the show, the podcast, the production is available on there, including some content. And that's about it, guys. Hit a like, a follow. I got to run that through, people. On any major podcast platform that we're available on, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and constantly growing. Thank you very much, guys. And until next time, later.
This had been a Truth Productions media episode. Thank you for listening.